Did you know that Aristotle, the great Greek philosopher, thought that the brain was sort of like a radiator, a cooling agent that kept the heart from overheating? For him, the heart and not the brain was the seat of emotions and intellect. That's so 4th century BCE, I tell you. For even in the matters of the heart, say when you blush at the sight of your crush, all of it has its origins in the brain. We have definitely come a long way in our understanding of the brain. Today, we know it as a command center with its complex network of neurons that controls our thoughts, actions, and emotions. Basically, who we are and what we do and don't do. But call it shy or shrewd, the brain hasn't revealed all of its secrets yet. And even the ones it has revealed, it's not that simple, especially when it comes to understanding how diseases develop in the brain and how to treat them. And the challenges are not always medical, as you will realize by the end of this video. We have with us today Dr. Mazda Turel, consultant neurosurgeon at Walk Heart Hospitals in Mumbai. He is also a columnist with The Week, where he writes a fortnightly column called Scalping, which is part funny, part punny, and all parts informative. In this video, Dr. Turel trains his surgical loops on brain tumors, and he also cautions against falling for rumors. Over to you, Dr. Turel.
A neurosurgeon is somebody who treats medical and surgical conditions of the brain and the spine. And one of the commonest conditions we see are brain tumors. Now, brain tumors come in various sizes, shapes, forms. They can be benign or malignant. Benign meaning those that are not cancerous, and malignant meaning those that are cancerous. I want to share the story of a 45-year-old boy who came to me about 4 years ago with headaches. And at the time, all he had was a dull, aching headache, nothing else. And sometimes, very often, headaches are brushed under the carpet. They might be attributed to stress, dehydration, migraines. But this guy had a dull, aching headache that wasn't going away. And so I insisted that we do an MRI scan. And when we did an MRI scan, lo and behold, we found a tumor inside his brain in the region called the insula. The insula is one of the deep-seated regions of the brain that lie between the frontal and the temporal lobes, and it's involved with a host of responsible situations such as memory, emotion, some amount of reflex activity. So and a lot of its functions are even unknown. Anyways, once upon a time, the insula was considered a no man's land where neurosurgeons used to fear to tread. And we went ahead and did an operation, and we were able to remove the whole tumor beautifully. And he made an excellent recovery. And unfortunately, the biopsy or the histopathology was reported as a grade 3 tumor. Now, brain tumors are categorized into more or less roughly 4 categories. Grade 1, which is a good category to have. Grade 2, which is not so good. Grade 3, which is worse than not so good. And grade 4, which is horrible. So, the post-surgical treatment options for grade 3 tumors involve radiation and chemotherapy. However, unfortunately, since the boy had made such a good recovery and he was only about 40 years old, the family said that no, we don't want to take radiation and chemotherapy because we've heard lots of stories about its side effects, and instead we're going to do some form of alternative medicine as suggested by certain elders in the family. And I told them that it was not the best option to consider. However, they went ahead and took the alternative form of medicine, and he was okay for a year or two. And then on the 3rd year, he had a seizure. A seizure is a electrical activity in the brain, an abnormal electrical activity in the brain that results in some amount of brain dysfunction. It's also called as an epileptic fit. So after the seizure, he recovered from the seizure, but they repeated an MRI of the brain, and it had shown that the tumor had come back and it had grown to a certain extent that was not conducive to a long-term survival. And when I saw him a year ago, I recommended that he has redo surgery and then follow it up with radiation and chemotherapy, or else the outcome is going to get really bad, because the grade 3 tumor, if left alone, will progress to becoming grade 4, and then the survival for a grade 4 tumor is very abysmal. Unfortunately, they didn't heed to my request, and a couple of days ago, the family brought him to the emergency of our department completely unconscious, with no response whatsoever. He had to be immediately intubated and connected to a ventilator. And when we repeated a scan of the brain, we saw that the tumor had massively increased in size, with a massive hemorrhage inside the tumor, causing very, very severe pressure effects on the brain. And instead of being, sympathetic and sad, I was actually very angry, because I had toiled for this one particular case for 6 to 8 hours during the first operation, and then insisted on repeated times when they came to me that he should follow up with this therapy, but they didn't pay any heed to my suggestion. And I was plagued with the dilemma of whether to go ahead and operate and save his life, knowing that the tumor has become a grade 4 tumor, or just let nature take its course and let him pass peacefully. And it is a difficult decision to make. And I explained to the family that whatever we do, the outcome may not be really good. And the family was devastated at the news at the time, and they said that, do whatever you can, doctor. I mean, this is our last resort. So we went ahead and operated on him and removed close to 500 grams of tumor from his head. And a couple of days later, he woke up and shifted out of ICU and was discharged in a condition that was near to normal. And now, but unfortunately, the biopsy report has come as a grade 4 tumor, and he only has a couple of more months to live. Whether he's going to consider further radiation and chemotherapy for his survival is anyone's guess.